It's just genius. I love it. I love it. Someone on here calling me a fascist. So Trump is now telling Keir what to do about his energy. Elon's telling Keir that he needs to be locked up, prosecuted for his complicity. Imagine thinking that what you think matters now. Oh, let me just count. Oh, melee in grooming gangs. And then you've got Elon calling Jess Phillips.
Donald Trump's snub of Keir Starmer has sent shockwaves through the political world. But what's the real story behind this diplomatic cold shoulder? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Hopkins pulls no punches as she exposes the shocking truth behind Trump's rejection. Is this a simple case of political maneuvering, or does it reveal a deeper rift in UK-US relations? Donald Trump's decision to exclude Keir Starmer from his guest list while warmly welcoming Nigel Farage has sent shockwaves through the political world. It's a move that goes beyond mere personal preference, revealing the complex dynamics at play in international relations.
How to get Keir out. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Keir's not long. So, Trump just tweeted to Keir Starmer and gets rid of windmills. There's things I love about this, right? Hold on. Trump demands Keir Starmer opens up the North Sea.
But why would a former US president go out of his way to snub a sitting UK prime minister? The context of this diplomatic cold shoulder is crucial. Starmer, as leader of the Labour Party, has been vocal in his criticism of Trump's policies and rhetoric. He's made no secret of his disdain for the former president's approach to governance, often painting him as a divisive figure who threatens democratic norms. This outspoken stance hasn't gone unnoticed across the pond. Trump, known for his long memory when it comes to perceived slight, seems to have taken Starmer's criticisms to heart. But it's not just about hurt feelings. The former president is playing a calculated game of political chess, using this snub to make a statement about Starmer's standing on the global stage. By contrast, Trump's warm reception of Nigel Farage, a figure without official power, but with significant influence in British conservative circles, speaks volume. It's a clear message that Trump values loyalty and ideological alignment over official titles. Farage, a longtime supporter and friend of Trump, represents the kind of Brexit supporting populist politics that resonates with the former president's base. This situation exposes a fundamental weakness in Starmer's approach to international relations. While he's been focused on presenting himself as a steady, traditional leader to domestic audiences, he's failed to build the kind of personal relationships that often grease the wheels of diplomacy. Trump's snub highlights this gap in Starmer's political toolkit. But what does this reveal about the changing nature of international diplomacy? It's a stark reminder that in today's political landscape, personal connections and ideological alignment can sometimes trump official protocol. Trump's actions suggest a shift towards a more personality-driven form of international relations, where leaders' personal rapport can significantly influence diplomatic outcomes. This isn't just about Trump and Starmer. It's a wake-up call for politicians worldwide. In an era where social media and personal branding play an increasingly important role in politics, leaders who can't navigate these waters risk being left out in the cold. In the ever-evolving world of international diplomacy, Donald Trump's brash style has become a lightning rod for debate. While traditional diplomatic circles have been left reeling, there's a growing whisper that his unorthodox approach might just be the shake-up global politics needs. Could Trump's blunt, no-nonsense dialogue be more than just controversial?
Not when you've got this kind of mobilization, the Elon factor, the Trump factor. They just got Nick Clegg replaced at Meta. I'm telling you, I've felt this for 4 years now. And so this to me is just, you know, the roller coaster is just building up speed. It's just brilliant. Let me tell you. It's the fact that Trump calls wind turbines windmills. So Facebook, Nick Clegg is out, Trump's man is in. All of the stars are lining up.
Some experts argue it might be a secret weapon in cutting through international red tape. Trump's diplomatic playbook has consistently challenged the status quo, leaving many to question whether his methods strengthen or weaken international ties. On one side, we have those who view his approach as a liability, potentially alienating long-standing allies and disrupting delicate global relationships. But on the flip side, a growing number of voices suggest that Trump's directness could lead to more effective and action-oriented diplomacy. Consider the dynamics of Trump's relationships with world leaders. His preference for those who align with his views isn't just about personal chemistry, it's a calculated strategy that could reshape the very foundations of international relations. By prioritizing boldness over traditional diplomatic niceties, Trump has managed to create a new paradigm that resonates with a segment of the population feeling neglected by conventional politics. But what about the long-term implications? As future leaders observe the Trump phenomenon, we might see a shift towards more direct engagement in global politics. The era of carefully worded joint statements and behind-the-scenes negotiations could give way to a more transparent, albeit potentially more volatile, form of international dialogue. Hopkins, a vocal supporter of Trump's methods, posits that leaders who challenge the status quo are gaining traction, while those who cling to outdated strategies risk being left in the dust. She emphasizes that Trump's approach isn't just about making waves, it's about making bold statements that cut through the noise of traditional political discourse. Critics might argue that this style of diplomacy is too unpredictable, too prone to misunderstanding, but supporters counter that in a world of increasing complexity, sometimes a dose of straight talk is exactly what's needed to break through bureaucratic inertia and achieve real progress.
It's just genius. I love it. I love it. Someone on here calling me a fascist. So Trump is now telling Keir what to do about his energy. Elon's telling Keir that he needs to be locked up, prosecuted for his complicity. Imagine thinking that what you think matters now. Oh, let me just count. Oh, melee in grooming gangs, and then you've got Elon calling Jess Phillips a foreskin or whatever he didn't call her that, but you know what I'm saying.
The question remains, as political tides shift, could Trump's brand of diplomacy become the new normal? His unorthodox approach has undoubtedly rattled traditional circles, but it's also opened up new possibilities for how nations interact on the global stage. As the dust settles on Trump's snub of Starmer, it's clear we're witnessing more than just a political spat. This is a seismic shift in the landscape of international relations. The old rule book of diplomacy is being torn up, replaced by a new paradigm where personal connections and loyalty trump traditional protocol. It's a world where leaders who dare to challenge the status quo are gaining ground, leaving their more cautious counterparts in the dust. But let's not kid ourselves. This transformation comes with its own set of risks. As diplomacy becomes more transactional, we're treading a fine line between boldness and recklessness. The future of UK-US relations hangs in the balance, and it's going to take more than a stiff upper lip to navigate these choppy waters. Starmer and his ilk need to wake up and smell the coffee, adapt, or become irrelevant on the global stage. So what's the magic formula? It's not about abandoning diplomatic norms entirely, but rather finding that sweet spot between tradition and innovation. The leaders who'll thrive in this brave new world will be those who can speak the language of both the old guard and the new maverick. They'll need the finesse of a seasoned diplomat and the raw charisma of a populist firebrand. It's a tall order, but hey, no one said rewriting the rules of global politics would be easy.